Hey team, this is Evolve Strong with CJ, and this is CJ. I help you lose 10 pounds and 5 inches on your waist in 28 days. This is what I do on a daily basis, my passion for the last 25 years of my life. And I'm pretty damn good at it. Got about 100% success rate. Hey, today I am speaking with a forked tongue. Okay, I truly am going to discuss something that I think is critically important to your path. But I also speak with, like I say, with two competing themes. And the overarching theme is quit falling for should. You should be going to bed at 9 o'clock at night. You should be doing affirmations every single day. You should be moving every single day. You should be saving your money every day. You should be communicating with all of your friends on a daily basis. You should. Man, if I did everything that everybody has tried to tell me that I should be doing, I wouldn't have no time for myself. I wouldn't have no time to do the things that I know which are critical for the success of Evolve, for my personal health, and for my relationship. If I did everything that people and the experts, and honestly, people in my own little realm tell me I should be doing, I am pretty certain that Evolve probably would have closed down by now. And I say this not to offend anybody, because I do believe that individuals have the best intention when they give you advice that more than likely you're not even looking for. And I do believe that from their perspective, they feel honestly, whether it be perceived or real, that their shoulds are, and it may have worked for them. It may have worked for them. But until they have been in your particular shoes, only then would I even think about there should do this and should do that. So let me just take for a prime example. I have pretty much been an entrepreneur my entire life. I started mowing lawns in elementary school because my parents couldn't afford the shoes that I wanted. They were buying me these Payless shoes that after just about a month or two, my feet would just stink like horrible, right? So I started mowing lawns so that I can get these leather bound shoes. And I actually wanted these Doc Martin shoes, right? But I remember Mr. Peckinpah, Mrs. Beaver, Miss Melvin, Mr. Montoya. I had about 5 or 6 lawns that I did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every weekend. I would do I would do one on Friday night, and then I'd do a 2 or 3 on Saturday and 2 and 3 on Sunday. And I would, I'd hustle my damn lawnmower, or they would have one, and I'd clean their yard, man. And I remember working all goddamn, like for 4 hours and making like $10. But man, you know what? I saved my money and I got my shoes. So it started at that point, and then I got my first real job at the Martial Arts Academy. But really, what I did is I worked to stay in the dorms, and I worked I taught classes so that I could pay my own tuition, and so that I could stay in the dorms there and then compete. So it was more of an entrepreneurial deal. And then I basically got sponsors, and that helped me through, until I was about 2021. And then my dad had a heart attack, and then I went and ran his company all the way for 8 years. And then after that, I worked at a stint in sports and wellness, but I was commission only, and it was being a trainer. At first, it was cleaning toilets as custodial staff. That only lasted like a month until they figured that I was a trainer and they wanted to move me up. And so I did that. And then, I've owned Evolve for the last 15 years. So, 10, no, pardon me. It was 2008. So whatever 2008 is, all the way through. So from there on, I've always been an entrepreneur. So unless someone has lived an entrepreneurial life for their entire life and has started and closed companies, I love the advice. I love that stuff, but I don't really I take things for at face value, and I try to use their information to the best of I possibly can. So I really look for individuals that have really excelled in business to take advice from. Now, in regards to fitness, I have been up and down and all around. You know, honestly, now I could say 15 years completely straight. I have dedicated my entire life to fitness. And, an additional 8 years before that. So almost 25 years, a decade and a half, 2 decades and a half, I've dedicated to fitness. And so when I see these different individuals, especially if they're like, please no offense, but there's some extremely intelligent, individuals at 20 years old, but I'm pretty certain they don't have 25 years of experience coming up with these weird diets and these, you should be doing this and you should be doing this, all that. And I'm like, man, I'm not too sure. So again, where I'm getting at is we are inundated every single day. I open up my Facebook and my Instagram and I see all these guys, stating you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Christine Conlon, who's been in the fitness industry now for 15 years with me, she threw me a diet today, a menopause diet. And the number one ingredient to this menopause diet is protein powders. And I have taught all the individuals going into menopause that protein powders are going to even wreak more havoc on your hormonal structure. Yeah, if you're only drinking a protein shake on a daily basis, you're going to lose the freaking weights. Right? But the problem is, if you're going to just drink a protein shake for the rest of your life, you're kind of screwed when you start adding more food in and you get out of that habit, right? So I really teach real food, real movement, real stuff like that. And that's where I'm trying to get at today. You should do this, you should do that. You keep getting all these shoulds. Do what's right for you and seek advice of those individuals that have years of experience, that dedicate their life and use real science when they say that this is the evidence and this is what can occur if you do these certain steps. Quit falling for the friend who went to Joe Blow down the road and said, you should be doing this, No. Follow the advice. And this doesn't even just about fitness. This is about your personal finances. This is about your relationships. This is about people that you love. This is about your health, And the reason that I surround myself with like docs like Shaw Marie and Doc Sockerman as an orthopedic surgeon, because I myself have seen results from these individuals. I trust them because I've experienced them, right? So be very careful about those shiny new techniques and shiny new fads and the people who say you should be. Be very cognizant of that word, you should. And be very careful of where that is coming from. What is the source? Cool? That is my words of advice today. I heard this because it was rather interesting. Lately, I've been getting a lot of you should. I'm making some moves on my personal life, and I'm making some big moves in the professional life. So there's a lot of different opinions. And I think that it was very strong. And it was a learning lesson for me to pull back in and trust my instincts. Yes, I use the information and I use all of that chatter to make a message clear. And don't get me wrong, for those that I really entrust, I do take their advice. I may not do exactly what they're talking about, but that voice is right in the back of my head. But for the majority and some of the very powerful people in my life, I have to say, this is my life. I'm going to be moving forward. And you're either going to be with me or not. And this is my choice. And that is sometimes the hardest thing to ever do is to create those lines in the sand and, move forward, because it's very emotional for a lot of people. And I think, because I myself fell victim to this, that with those lack of boundaries and lines drawn in the sand, it drives you crazy. And that's what drove me to drink. That's what drove me to make decisions that were very poor historically. It drove me to a point where my well-being was just trashed. And that's when I found myself homeless at the end of a bottle, figuring out with $5 in my pocket, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And that's when I dedicated my life to fitness. And fuck everybody else. I was a Harvard MBA. I just wanted to clean toilets, just hide myself. And I did. But then now look at who I am, right? So again, be very careful. Just understand. Just be cognizant. I'm not going to tell you you should, but I am telling you this is just a clear message because you sought out this advice. It's not unadulterated. I've not told you, but you are listening to this. So I think at this point, just be aware. Just be aware. And then trust in your own instinct and your own abilities, because I know from the bottom of my heart that you have it in you completely. Hey guys, if you want some help, 505-370-7771, 505-370-7771. Let's lose a couple pounds for the summer. My heart to yours. Remember, start strong, stay strong, always be, evolve, and utmost strong. Later, team.